Hello, beautiful souls. Stay with me and let's talk about this devastating perception people have around the homeless. Let me share with you how gifted and brilliant and beautiful, and if you knew their stories, we would all be helping each other in incredible ways. Let me go back to childhood. My father was someone who always was bringing home homeless people to help with he had a trucking business. And so there was an equal energy exchange, and he was able to give them good meals. And of course, my mother wasn't very impressed because we were young children, and she was like, what if. But here's the thing, me being me, I loved talking to any soul, and I always saw everyone as a soul on a journey. And so the stories were profound. Let me share with you an example and see if we can get our hearts back in check with the word compassion. Do we remember how to have a heart for those less fortunate and struggling in this moment? It's just in this moment. If we help them, they wouldn't be struggling, and we wouldn't have to label them and identify and disregard. And oh, goodness me. One of the stories was a man at the top with his wife, 3 kids. Everything was awesome. They were going camping. And what a beautiful day. They have an incredible experience. And that night, everyone is sleeping, and he decides to go and check on the propane. And as he gets out of the camper and he goes, it blew up. He lost everything. Now, let's reflect on human emotions. If everything like that falls away, little bit difficult to keep the ball rolling. And so careful how we may so easily judge a book by its cover. This is an old classic saying, and it holds so much value if you realize. Now here, moving forward, becoming a social worker, I've worked in every avenue of childcare. I've seen so many stories. And again, being me, I love to talk to souls. Share with me your story, share with me. And I got to work in a shelter. And I'm telling you, the most divine, incredible souls were those that I met that were going through the system, just trying to get back on their feet. And you know what? I seen across the board, it seemed, they were the black sheep. They were the outcasts. They are the ones that I could have the deepest conversations with, and they got me on every level. We could talk so divinely. So if you're aware of what I feel is happening, is this spiritual warfare, it only makes sense that they taught society to kind of oppress those that could help the rising. And I'm telling you, incredible souls. And here's what's wrong with the system if you haven't been through it. You're really one paycheck away from joining them, my friends. So let's have some heart here. It's a really difficult thing, number one, to just be someone who's got your basics, your food and your shelter. And like, come on, that's like, take those things away. If you slept in the ditch overnight, are you ready to get up and hit the pavement to find a job the next day? I mean, there's so many little system flaws. Like, if that, there's examples of the one night they had to sleep in a doorway to get away from the wind. We call it lobbying. They get fined. Now they've got tickets. Or these little things within the law like start to hinder them, or they end up, if they're on the streets, everything tends to get stolen, and so then they don't have ID. Can you tell me how you get a job if you don't have an address? How are you supposed, it's just these little things that create this snowball effect that can put people in a bad place real fast. And we have to have compassion because our system is, in my opinion, trying to do that. You think about, okay, in my experience with childcare, I have never saw a child as bad that was emotion and that was dysregulated. They didn't know how to handle it, and it was coming out in a behavior. Beautiful souls, misunderstood. Everybody just wants to be seen, heard, validated, understood, loved. And here it is. Now I'm in in childcare, and I'm seeing how every single child that to me was gifted and was gonna break the mold and create new incredible things were starting to be diagnosed. The ADHDs and the this and that. I came across a doctor who said ADD should be an adventure deficit disorder, because that's a soul who don't want to sit still and listen to something that don't resonate. They got better things to do today. And no, they want to try and like sit down, follow the rules. If you can't, we're gonna label you and we'll get you something to make sure that you know how to sit still and obey. Careful. That never resonated with me. Again, if you're following me, if this resonates, subscribe. I can share so many stories of growing up in a home that had so many family members that had mental health, and I knew that I had two choices: to be or not to be. That was the question. So I have lived my whole life going, I'm going to figure it out. I'm hitting therapy. I'm hitting the books. I'm going to not stop until I master mindset, emotional intelligence, and my inner compass. That was always, I was born into that. Never let go of that. I'll tell you, my connection to source, the angels, my God center, our compass. We all got that. But society tells us to turn it all off. So back to having compassion for those less fortunate. I mean, we're all one step away. So careful. Just start being the change. You've heard that, be the change. I think it's just about having more compassion, less judgment. Don't let society use language, contexts. They come up with their own, they want to put everybody into a ball and a box and a category and a label and a diagnosis and a something that benefits them. But it's an absolute opposite of all of it. All it is you're human having this crazy experience with so much darkness, but there's so much light, and they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that you can rise and shine, because it doesn't feed them, but I want to feed you. I want to feed everyone a little bit of this wisdom, and come back to knowing that together is how we rise. And you know what? It's as simple as smile at them. Smile. I mean, it's all about, we want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be validated, we want to be understood. Help doesn't mean that you've got to give your last dollar. It simply could mean having a little bit of compassion, saying hello, wishing them a blessing. If you do have something, simply share, if you can, what you can. And think about it. We all have, this blows my mind because I'm such a minimalist, but I know the world isn't, and been taught to consume. We're consumers, they love it. Your storage, your basement, your shed, where do you got stuff that you haven't looked at in the last how long? Do you think maybe someone out there could use it? Because all of this stuff, again, everything is energy. If you're hanging on to stuff that no longer serves you and could serve someone else, I think this is the shift that could start to change the world. Be the change. Give more love. Give whatever it is you can, even if that's a smile. And together is how we'll rise. I'm telling you, everyone is a beautiful soul given the opportunity to show the shine they got inside, but a lot of them, their lights burn out. So go around with a match and light them back up. Help everybody the best you can. And it starts with helping you. So make sure you're taking care of you, and then overflow to the world. Wishing you so much love and light. I'm heart hugging everyone. So much love. We got this. We got this. Together we rise.